behalf of Wragby Business Solutions Management, Board and staff, we welcome you to this occasion.
I'll be discussing largely around the AWS and Wragby partnership. This is to help us to engage you customers to capture the value that has to come with the cloud, right? From better architecting your infrastructure, how do you want to move to the cloud? What are the values that you want to leverage right going to the cloud? So these and many more is what we want to do with you and work with you on this journey.
One of the reasons why you should have an hybrid setting is to cut some of these challenges off. You are not constrained by the cost of getting servers, managing and running those servers. We're in an age and time where if you are not innovating, you are going to die faster than anything, right? Your competitors are thinking, you are also thinking. You want to remain in the market. So that thing that is going to give you that edge above your competitors is having an hybrid kind of setting. Why hybrid cloud? Number one is risk mitigation and performance optimization. So with hybrid cloud settings, you're able to distribute your workload. The last one I'll be talking about is cost optimization and efficiency. I've heard of the phrase or maybe is the common thing that people say, cloud is expensive, right? But I tell customers, look at it from this angle. If you say cloud is expensive, have you talked about or have you looked into as an organization how much you are paying those that are managing the infrastructure, the server that is on-prem? How much it is that is taking the developer that instead of thinking of the code to put together to develop new products for you, is having to slash that time, go to the server room, go and check on if the server is fine, come back and continue coding and all of those things, right? There's those costs that were not really actually taken into consideration. Now with the cloud or with hybrid cloud strategy, you can have a mix of both.
Today at this event, we spoke about building a resilient enterprise through hybrid cloud using AWS as our case study.
From an AWS perspective is that even though there are good reasons why customers like the benefits of the cloud, like I've said, right? But there are still reasons why you need to run on-prem. But then customers would also like for a scenario where I'm in this peculiar situation as a customer where I want to get the benefits of the public cloud, but I also want to get the benefits of on-prem. But in addition to that, I don't want to sort of run disparate systems because running on-prem, running in the cloud, and they are disparate. How can I have a scenario where I have a sort of uniform experience regardless of where my workloads are, whether my workloads are on-prem or my workloads are in the cloud? Does that make sense? AWS is a right partner to consider in this space, especially because of the consistency and the investments that we've made, and especially because of the investments that we've made for this market. So AWS is very intentional about this market and in trying to ensure that customers in Nigeria are able to take advantage of all of these investments that we've been able to drive in other markets across the globe.
I have gained some form of insight around how we can get our teams more engaged, more productive around the work standards and processes. And I think the AWS hybrid model will do well to helping us achieve and scale our business to the next level.
Data underpins major initiatives in the organizations today, like digital transformation, for instance. You also have situations where you need to revamp your customer experience or change some parts of your business processes. All these are driven by data. So for you as an organization, you need to think about what is under the hood, in terms of strategy, in terms of how do you store your data. I know Ife was talking about data lake too. Now you have a lot of all different kinds of data, structured and unstructured. Are you storing this data in a central repository so that you're making decision right, from a particular place, more like a data lake? In AWS, we have Amazon S3 for that. And also for analytics. Are you searching your data? Are you streaming your data? Do you want real-time data, or you want them to be batch workloads? This is going to inform, the kind of result or the kind of insights you get from your application.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone that has asked a question so far. So this is going to be very brief because we don't plan to take your time more than we have already. From a business strategy perspective, what do you think are those drivers that's, the things that drives an organization to adopt hybrid, use case, proper use cases that you can give to these people here to make them say, oh, I can relate with that kind of a use case. So
when it comes to the cloud, one of the benefits of the cloud, in addition to speed of innovation, agility, and the rest, is obviously cost savings. If you do cloud correctly, you will save cost. Now, I said if you do cloud correctly, because sometimes you can migrate to the cloud and actually increase your cost. Because it's all about the mindset, and I think Demola was speaking to that as well. Because in the cloud, you need to have the mindset of, I start with what I need, then I scale in that regard. We've seen a lot of people where they move to the cloud, but their expenses still continue to rise because you're still using the same mindset of getting a bigger server and having on used capacity and all of that, right? So if you do cloud correctly, your cost actually should reduce.
The assessment we did a like to like. If this customer were to move this unoptimized form of their infrastructure to AWS, what would that cost look like? And just from that alone, we saw that we could do roughly about 40% less, just from that alone. Now, we then decided if we wanted to actually optimize, if we wanted to right size, so they are running XYZ, and we've seen over a period of, 30 days, they are using 30% capacity. So we don't need to provision that sort of, those resources for them. If you right size alone, we saw that they could cut their cost in half, literally on AWS. So that's the sort of insight you get when we do those sort of assessments, when we do, and then we give you that business case and we show you this is what you're spending. And the interesting fact is we ran the tool. We didn't have the knowledge of what they are spending on that platform. But from the tool, we were able to tell them, from the tool and the information we have, we believe this is how much your cost on that platform is. And we were right. We got those figures correctly. So we're not manipulating those figures. Literally, the customer was able to validate that, those are the figures we are spending today. We're telling them that we can see this sort of, optimizations to the tune of a little over 50%.
So I speak on data a lot. And how I begin is that even the aboki on your street generates data. And he needs insights into that data he generates on his business to be able to progress his business. Whether he's going to open more kiosks at the junction, whether he's going to, expand, or how he will expand. And that also applies to our businesses. Irrespective of where we are on our business, we need to generate insights. We need to have a general assessment of our business. And how do we do that? By speaking to our data directly, by allowing our data do the job for us.
Looking at cloud adoption and also even adopting hybrid cloud strategy. If you look at it from a business perspective, organization, typically you're in business for three things: to create value, deliver value, and to capture value. And in trying to do that, how do you really ensure that you also competitive? Because in our market today is a very competitive one. Basically everything you start will be copied within very few time. So competition is very crazy out there. So how do you ensure you're ahead of the curve and you're also innovating to ensure that nobody goes ahead of you? So that's where adopting services within the cloud come into play, looking at AI, getting a lot of insights and all that. So looking at late adopters, if you remain on-premise, you will see your business will really not be able to grow. The agility will not be there. You need to roll out new products, you need to optimize your operations, you need to improve certain services you offer. And that's where the flexibility, running a lot of services on the cloud comes into place.
For hybrid connectivity, AWS has different solutions. When you're trying to integrate your on-premise infrastructure to local zone, you still have the hybrid connectivity options that is available within the global
space.
space. Okay. So you have the site-to-site VPN connection, which you can use the IP sector and from a security perspective. And for when you have high latency requirements, you need to meet some particular level of processing from a latency side, and you need speed and reliability. Because one thing about VPN, I used to tell people, is VPN is still working on your existing internet. So the way your internet is, that's how the VPN connection reliability will be. Okay. So, but if you're concerned about that, you can go with AWS Direct Connect, which is also a feature for you to directly connect to the data center.
Wragby, as a multi-cloud partner, is leveraging partnerships to see how we can help our customers work smarter and achieve more.
Give just one key takeaway that if they will forget anything, you don't want them to forget it from this event today.
Convert your data from being a liability into an asset for your business.
So for me, it will be learn and be curious. I will mention a lot of things today. Just be curious about it and say, let me ask more questions. So speak with Wragby. Let's do an assessment. Let's have a conversation with you. Just be curious.
I don't know what perspective you came here of what the cloud was, but I do hope that with the sessions we've had today, you've been able to sort of rethink what that mindset is. We've seen that the cloud literally can be on-prem, right? The cloud can be wherever you need it to be. So I just want us to go back with that mindset and see that there is immense possibilities that exist, with the cloud essentially. To drive business agility, you really need to get to the level where you embrace cloud so that you are ahead of competition. Again, a lot of people talk about cloud being expensive and all that, but if you look at it from an angle that using cloud, I'm actually getting a lot of value. For every $1 I'm spending, I'm getting $5 more into the business. If I spend $1 on a service on AWS, it's helping me generate $5 for the business. It becomes an easier conversation to have with management.
So what we are doing now is to partner with AWS to drive that adoption, to see how we can, take these customers on a cloud or hybrid journey using not only AWS cloud, but all AWS technologies that comes to that cloud adoption.
We just want to say a big thank you to each and every one of you for finding this very valuable time to come and spend here. A whole lot has been said, and I think the key takeaways is let's just keep the conversation going.